Update. My 31 female best friend, 32 female, is telling me that my boyfriend, 34 male, cheated with her, but it says that she's lying. How do I get to the truth and then salvage whichever one of these relationships is worth saving? Original post. I've been best friends with Becca since 2010. We were college roommates, and then after we graduated, we still lived together up until I moved in with my boyfriend Nate in 2019. One thing about Becca is that she's always had a drinking problem for as long as I've known her. And she's done stuff while drunk that has sometimes caused problems in our friendship. She does try to stay sober, but every few years something will happen to make her start drinking again, which is what happened earlier this summer. So last Saturday, Becca called me because she was drunk somewhere and needed a ride home. I couldn't go pick her up because I had flu, and I was in cold medicine, so Nate went to get her instead. A couple of days after that, I started noticing that Nate was being weird with his phone. Normally, he leaves it out on a coffee table if we're watching TV or whatever, but he started putting it face down, so I couldn't see what notifications he was getting. My first thought was that he was trying to plan a surprise. And because of the timing, I thought that maybe Becca was helping him. Yesterday, I saw Becca. I told her that Nate was being sneaky all of a sudden, and asked her if he said anything about maybe proposing soon. She asked me if I looked through his phone, and I said no. Becca started crying and told me that she and Nate hooked up in his car that night that he came to pick her up. Her excuse was that she was really drunk and didn't fully know what she was doing. She said she'd been texting him since, telling him that he needed to tell me what happened or else she was going to. I asked Becca to show me the texts, but they were all in the app Signal, which deletes messages after a day. So all I could see was that she and Nate had a chat thread, but nothing that they said. I told her to text Nate in front of me, so I could see what he said. And she did, but we got no read receipt and so no response at all. So it didn't prove anything. I asked Becca if she was sure she wasn't so drunk that she maybe imagined it, or thought a dream was real. And she absolutely lost it on me. And said that she knows that she's horrible when she drinks, but that she's not freaking delusional, and she doesn't make things up. She said that I could believe her or not and it's my choice, but she was telling me the truth. And just said I needed to go home and talk to Nate. So when I got home, I confronted Nate with what Becca had said, and he acted shocked and denied that anything like that happened at all, and said he didn't know why I should think so or say so. He said that he had just given Becca a ride home, and the only thing that happened was that they talked about how he and I had been together for a long time and how we should get married already. He admitted they were talking on Signal the next couple of days, but he said that it was about exactly what I thought, that he was asking her about engagement rings and what kind of proposal I would want. Nate replied to Becca's message from before, asking her if she made up a story about them hooking up to not ruin the surprise about his proposal. And she texted him back that there was no proposal and to stop playing dumb. So then Nate called her pretending like I wasn't in the room and told her that she needed to stop whatever she was trying to do because we were on the verge of breaking up and he'd rather just have the surprise be ruined. But Becca just kept telling Nate to stop lying until he got angry and hung up on her. I really didn't know what to think, and I still don't. Right now, Nate is really upset and not really talking to me much. He says that it's bad enough that Becca acted insane and ruined his plan to propose, but it's even worse that I believed her lies even a little and would think that he would ever cheat on me. Becca texted me saying she was sorry, but otherwise I haven't talked to her either. I don't want to think that Nate would cheat on me or that he'd take advantage of Becca if she was that drunk, but I feel like I can't be 100% sure because I've known Becca for 13 years, and I also just can't believe that she'd lie to me about something this important. And I know that she does have a drinking problem, so I can believe that she'd sleep with my boyfriend if she was drunk out of her head. She's done some pretty awful things in the past when she's drunk. I don't want to wrongly accuse Nate of something he didn't do, but I don't want to be an idiot. Now for the top advice before reading the update. What else has Becca done to you while drunk? I feel like more past context is needed. Does she normally black out? Forget things? Misread situations? Has she hooked up with a past partner? Hit on guys you like? Please provide more background. The fact that they're using Signal to communicate definitely makes me think it's something sketchy and not some innocent thing. I am 60% believing her, but please provide additional details. So in the past when she's been drunk, Becca's blacked out and started fights with me and other people. She'll say really out of line, insulting things. She's kicked people out of our apartment because she didn't remember inviting them in. She's accused me of stealing clothes from her because I was wearing an outfit that looked like something that she owned. That kind of thing. She's never hooked up with anyone that I was dating, but she's definitely hooked up with guys that she knew I was interested in. Wow, that's tough. I'm sorry you're in this situation, because she seems like a total unreliable narrator. But also your boyfriend doesn't seem like he's acting that trustworthy either. What's your gut feeling? I don't know. I really don't think that Nate would cheat, but I just can't imagine that Becca would completely make this up. Both of their stories somewhat make sense to me, but I don't know. I don't know why Becca would be saying this if it wasn't true, but I'm afraid of deciding I definitely believe her and then having her later realize she forgot she hooked up with somebody else that night or something. From a new device, you can add the app and recover up to 30 days of messages by hitting the Restore Recover after being prompted with your 30-digit passphrase. Remember, nothing is deleted from servers. All your stuff is out there. I don't care what app you use. There is no such thing as privacy on a smartphone or computer for the average user. Now for the update. So on Thursday night, after I got everyone's advice, I told Nate that I had found out a way to recover deleted messages from Signal. He immediately took out his phone and opened the app and asked me to show him how to do it. So I already thought that must mean he was telling me the truth because he didn't panic or hesitate at all. Which was good, because when I tried to download Signal on my old phone, it turned out that it's too old to support the current version of the app, so it wouldn't work. Nathan asked me if we were going to have to go out and buy a new phone for me to believe that he was telling me the truth, and he said that he was willing to do it if that's what it would take. I told Nate it wasn't that I didn't believe him, I just wanted to have some proof, because I just couldn't understand why Becca would lie about it. Nate said that she would lie about it because she's a freaking crazy drunk witch. And there's literally no way for a non-crazy person to understand why she would do anything. And once the messages prove that, he didn't ever want me talking to her again. Then his had to get up because if we were going to go to the Verizon store, we had to get there before it closed. By then, I completely believed Nate anyway. So I told him we didn't have to go anywhere or get a new phone, and that I believed him and I knew he didn't cheat on me, and that he would never do that. Nate said that he would hope I know that, and that he didn't understand why I didn't take his word for it in the first place. I started trying to explain why I didn't want to just immediately dismiss what Beck had said happened, but Nate said that he really couldn't listen to that right now. I said that was fair and agreed that I would cut Becca off. But at first, I wanted to try to get her to admit that nothing happened. Nate said fine, but to call her with my phone on speaker, because he thought he also deserved to hear her admit that she was lying. So I called Becca and I said the same thing to her that I said to Nate, that I figured out how to recover deleted messages on Signal. She asked me why I would need to do that, so that was when I knew for sure that she was definitely making it up, and not just confused somehow. I said it was because I wanted to have proof of what she and Nate talked about. Becca asked me if I saw their messages, so I lied and said yes. After that, Becca just went silent, until finally I asked her if she was going to say anything. Then she asked me if that meant that we were engaged now. So then I really just lost it on her and screamed at her, asking her if she was freaking serious. And what the heck was wrong with her? And how could that possibly be all that she had to say? Becca started screaming back, telling me to calm down and about how obviously I never believed her anyway, because it's not like we broke up over it. I was crying by that point, and because of that I couldn't really say anything else. So then Nate told Becca to get lost and to never ever contact either one of us ever again, and hung up on her. A minute later, Becca sent me a completely unhinged text that I'm quoting here verbatim apart from changed names. Courtney, you are supposed to be my friend for life. You are supposed to be there for me. You are supposed to be my person. But then you meet Nate and now you only care about Nate. Everything is about Nate. Tell me why Nate comes to pick me up when I call you. I called you, not your precious freaking Nate. I only want you to see how messed up this is. But do you? No, of course you don't. Of course you choose Nate over me like you always do, and like you always will. You pretend to care about me, but I can't see you don't care. It is pathetic, Courtney. You are a pathetic woman who would choose a man over a friend. Since you have to have your sweet, perfect little baby Nate do it for you, I will. Goodbye, Courtney. Is that what you want? Goodbye forever. I hope you got what you freaking want. There were the 3 dots after that showing she was still typing more, but I blocked her before she sent it. I don't care about anything else that she has to say. I'm sure it's all just going to be more BS about why this is my fault, or justifications about why what she did wasn't that bad and I should forgive her. I know Nate is probably right, and there's no non-crazy logic behind why Becca would stoop to doing something like this. But obviously, I've still been thinking about it, and my best guess is that whoever said that Becca still blames me and Nate, apparently mostly Nate, for her being a drunk mess who can't get her life together, is right. It seems like she somehow thought that if she said she hooked up with Nate, I'd break up with him, but still wants to be friends with her and then everything would magically be fixed. As far as stuff with Nate, I asked him if he thought he could ever forgive me for doubting him, and he said that since I came to my senses and I cut Becca off, he guesses we can try to put it behind us. I don't think he's still going to propose anytime soon. After this, I probably wouldn't if I was him. And from what Nate said, he didn't actually do any planning yet other than asking Becca about rings, and if I'd think a public proposal was tacky or not. All he was doing so far was trying to get ideas without me knowing he was talking to her about it. So just based on that, I think probably it's not going to happen for a while if it still does at all. Also, thanks to everyone for the advice and support. I know I didn't respond to many comments, but I really did appreciate everyone who cared enough to want to help. Wow, this is a perfect example of how drugs and alcohol affects behavior and logical thinking. BFF thought admitting to sleeping with your serious boyfriend would result in a positive or a win for her. Sorry this is going to delay your future with Nate, but hopefully with a bit of time behind you, everything will be back on course. Maybe invest in some security devices like cameras and rape alarm in case Becca approaches. I'm guessing you haven't seen the last of her. I'm sure she won't just go away. I'm already expecting her to try to get our other friends to get in the middle of everything as soon as she figures out she's actually blocked. And I'm not just ignoring her. I hope she won't try to do anything else, but I guess at this point I really can't know with her. I'm hoping things are okay with Nate. I think in a while they will be. I would get out ahead of that. Message your mutual friends and explain the basics of what happened. Tell them you're not asking them to take sides or cut her off, but you expect that she will try to get to you through them and you're asking them to respect your decision to end that friendship. I have something like that drafted. I just know that once I send it, everyone is going to want to talk to me about it. And I'm just not looking forward to it. I'll do it pretty soon though. It sounds like you are the most patient one of her friends regarding her drunken mishaps. I'm sure your other friends will be on your side once you explain her lies. Had you been pressuring Nate to propose at all? Not even. We've talked about it a little just because I'm getting into my 30s and whatever, but to be honest, getting married isn't even that big a deal to me. Or to Nate either, I don't think. I actually somewhat have the impression that Becca bringing it up made Nate think that I had said something to her. So that's why he decided to ask now. But obviously this doesn't seem like the best time for conversation about it. So that's just my feeling. Well, if it isn't something you've been pressing for or even want necessarily, just concentrate on getting your relationship back to where you want it. Sounds like if you stay no contact with Becca, you have a good shot of that happening. I'm curious if Becca ever said anything to you when she hooked up with guys you liked? Do you think she was blocking you on purpose to keep you for herself? Did she try anything with Nate before you were exclusive? Or was she drunk and looking for hookups? I don't think she ever put enough thought into those hookups to be malicious like that. She was just inconsiderate and would go after whoever. Last story. My girlfriend, 28 female, doesn't want me, 27 male, to keep our current dog because she's old and thinks she'll cost more money than we need to spend. How can I respectfully tell her I'm not getting rid of the dog? Me and my girlfriend have been dating for 6 years. I brought a dog into the relationship who was 5 years old at a time. The dog is currently 11. I had conversation with my girlfriend about this and the possibility of another dog. The first thing she said was, no, dogs in general are expensive. Which reminds me, you should get rid of the brat we have right now, because all dogs like her are so much more expensive. After she said this, I told her that the dog was my best friend and something I would never get rid of because she means too much to me. I told her that the dog matters more than money. She got mad, and she said that the dog should matter less than what she wants because we've been dating for 6 years. I simply got up and left the room to calm down. The dog has never been a problem. She hasn't had to do anything with her other than feed her at night when I'm at work. The dog hasn't ever been a problem in the time we've been dating. She's mostly lazy, and the most she does is a daily walk that my girlfriend hasn't ever had to do. I've owned this dog for longer than we've been dating, and this dog gave me the love that I wasn't able to get from anyone. How can I tell my girlfriend that I'm not going to get rid of the dog? I don't want to cause more problems than needed, but I do care about my girlfriend, and I don't want to lose her because of something as stupid as this. Now for the advice. How can I tell my girlfriend that I'm not going to get rid of the dog? You tell her straight. I'd be concerned at this point about how she treats your dog when you're not around. To word this in the gentlest way possible, I don't suppose it's with kindness. I seriously think you need to walk away with your dog. Yeah, I would seriously be concerned that one day you're gonna come home to find your dog gone, with your girlfriend saying, "Gosh, he must gotten out and run away, I guess," and not knowing if she actually drove him 100 miles away and abandoned him in the woods, or took him to a vet and had him put down. How about getting rid of the girlfriend? Like, for real, why you want be together with someone who wants to throw away an animal when I could get ill and cost money? What will happen when you get ill and cost her money? Or a child? She's unemployed, so I would be caring for myself with my own money. And we've talked about the children thing before, but she believes children are more important than animals, says they're a lifelong responsibility. You should get rid of her, because unemployed girlfriends are more expensive. Edit. Thank you everyone for the advice. I didn't think there would be so many people helping with this. I have decided, when I have time, to get rid of the girlfriend. I can't be with someone who, like many of you have said, who will not care for me when I'm old and sick with her, or who will divorce and leave me when our children turn out to be too expensive. Me and Pupper will live our best life without that weight on our shoulders.